The 1st Marine Division was activated aboard the battleship USS Texas, February 1st, 1941. It is the oldest, largest, and most decorated division in the United States Marine Corps. Guadalcanal was the first major Pacific campaign in World War II and the first time 1st Marine Division conducted combat operations as a division. The division's actions during this operation earned it the first of 3 presidential unit citations during the war. The battles of Peleliu and Okinawa culminated in additional citations. In February 1943, while the division was stationed in Victoria, Australia, Lieutenant Colonel Merrill Twining created the 1st Marine Division unit logo and shoulder patch. It was the first patch to be approved in World War II. It specifically commemorated the division's sacrifices and victory in the Battle of Guadalcanal. The logo, also referred to as the Blue Diamond, features the national colors, red, white, and blue. The white stars featured on the blue background are in the arrangement of the Southern Cross constellation under which the fighting on Guadalcanal took place. A few short years later, the outbreak of the Korean War caused elements of the division to deploy in early July 1950 to help stem the tide of North Korean aggression. The division, as part of the U.S. Army 10th Corps, initially pushed enemy forces north into mountains around the Chosin Reservoir, before being surrounded by Chinese forces, who ultimately suffered more than 40,000 casualties trying to stop the Marines' withdrawal from the reservoir. Between 1965 and 1966, the entirety of the 1st Marine Division would deploy to Vietnam. Over the next year, the division would conduct 44 named and unnamed operations, including Operations Hastings and Union 1 and 2. Blue Diamond Marines also participated in the Battle of Way City in 1968, fighting in some of the most intense urban combat Marines have been involved in during the entire history of the Corps. Elements of the 1st Marine Division were the first conventional forces to deploy to Afghanistan in 2001, and in early 2003, the Blue Diamond conducted the longest ground march in Marine Corps history during the invasion of Iraq. Over the next 2 decades, Marines with 1st Marine Division deployed multiple times in support of the global war on terrorism, fighting in places like Al Anbar, Iraq, and Helmand Province, Afghanistan. In every challenge it has faced, 1st Marine Division has proved time and time again its ability to adapt, overcome, and win against all odds. From the Pacific to the Middle East and beyond, 1st Marine Division has been at the forefront of major historical events, shaping the course of nations and defending freedom across the globe. Headquartered at Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton, California, 1st Marine Division is a multi-role expeditionary ground combat force. The division is the ground combat element of one Marine expeditionary force and can provide task-organized forces for assault operations and such operations as may be directed. The 1st Marine Division can provide an amphibious forcible entry capability to the Naval Expeditionary Force and can conduct follow-on land operations in any environment. The 1st, 5th, and 7th Marine Regiments each consist of 1 headquarters company and 4 infantry battalions, with 1 battalion deployed outside the continental United States at all times. The infantry battalions are the basic tactical units the regiment uses to accomplish its mission of locating, closing with, and destroying the enemy by fire and maneuver. The 1st and 5th Marine Regiments are located at Camp Pendleton. The 7th Marine Regiment is located at Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center, 29 Palms, California. The 11th Marine Regiment consists of a headquarters battery and 3 artillery battalions. The regiment is the primary source of fire support for 1st Marine Division. It provides direct and indirect fire support to frontline units as required by infantry commanders. The regiment's organic weapons are the 155mm M777 lightweight howitzer, the high mobility artillery rocket system, and the 120mm expeditionary fire support system. Most of the regiment is headquartered at Camp Pendleton, while 3rd Battalion resides at 29 Palms. The 1st Combat Engineer Battalion provides both tactical and logistical engineer support to 1st Marine Division, as well as maneuver forces as required. The mission of 3rd Assault Amphibian Battalion is to transport the surface assault elements of a landing force from Navy amphibious warships to inland objectives during an amphibious assault, and to provide support to mechanized operations ashore. The amphibious combat vehicles are primarily used to transport personnel in tactical operations. The battalion is located at Camp Pendleton. The division has 2 light armored reconnaissance battalions. Their mission is to conduct reconnaissance, security, and limited offensive or delaying operations that make use of the unit's mobility and firepower. 1st Light Armored Reconnaissance Battalion was activated in 1985 and is located at Camp Pendleton. Their Light Armored Reconnaissance Battalion was activated in 1986 and is located at 29 Palms. 1st Reconnaissance Battalion was originally activated in 1937. It was deactivated in 1992. The division reactivated the battalion in 2000. Before 1944, Marine reconnaissance consisted primarily of scout sniper units. In April 1944, a 2-company amphibious reconnaissance battalion was formed with the mission of conducting beach reconnaissance and hydrographic survey. Today, the battalion performs a wide variety of tactical and special operations in support of the division. The battalion is headquartered at Camp Pendleton. These regiments and battalions represent a combat-ready force of almost 20,000 Marines and sailors. The division provides fully trained units and personnel in support of global force management requirements, such as Marine Rotational Force Darwin, Marine Expeditionary Units, and the Unit Deployment Program to Okinawa, Japan. Additionally, 1st Marine Division continues to stand on the forefront of experimentation for the Marine Corps. Major exercises include, but are not limited to, Steel Night, West Coast Fleet Weeks, Unitas, and integration with 3rd and 7th Fleets when possible. Exercises west of the international date line include Freedom Shield, Marara, Valiant Shield, Koa Moana, and Keris Strike. Finally, 3rd Battalion, 4th Marines lead the way in experimentation and evaluation as part of Phase 2 of Infantry Battalion Experimentation 2030 for the Division and for the Marine Corps. The battalion will continue fielding new equipment, testing new formations, and integrating new concepts across the unit to ensure the most lethal battalions result from IBX 30. The 1st Marine Division continues to train with the focus and priority of operational readiness and mission accomplishment. The character and work ethic of Marines and sailors within its ranks fosters the culture of winning that solidified the Blue Diamond as the pinnacle of excellence from the very beginning.